Wrap up.
Hello everyone,
you may remember
I'm here with another video
that
for you today.
in September
I'm bringing you my
September wrap up. You may remember that I made a video a little while back saying that I was going to be reading only middle grade in September with my friend Katie, and we did that, and unfortunately we were a little let down by some of our reads. Most of our reads, actually. But that's okay, you know, it's just a fluke. We're both very confident that we'll have many wonderful middle grade buddy reads in the future. And so, yes, I unfortunately wasn't able to finish everything that we had planned, or that I had planned. I'm still lacking one buddy read that we had planned together. But that's okay, I did the best I could with starting school, and I'm pretty happy with what I did complete. So without further ado, let me jump in and tell you what I did read this month. The first book that we started off the month reading together was The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. This is a story about our main character, Ada, who was born with a club foot, and because of this, her mother is very ashamed of her and keeps her inside in their apartment and won't let her go out ever because she's a horrible woman. Yeah, not a likable character. This book is set in England right before the start of World War II, and so at the beginning of the book, Ada and her little brother Jamie sneak away from their home without their mother's permission to be sent to live in the countryside like many of the children at the beginning of World War II were. So they go to live with a woman named Susan, and she is much kinder than their mother is and lets Ada just kind of explore the world and starts teaching her how to read, and Ada starts to learn how to walk with her club foot, and she meets a pony named Butter that Susan has and makes good friends with him and falls in love with horseback riding and just generally starts discovering the world and having the world open up to her in a way that she was never that she had never had before because her mother kept her from so much. Both Katie and I really enjoyed this book for the most part. We were both kind of disappointed with the ending. It ends a little abruptly. The pacing throughout the whole novel is so wonderful until the end, and it just gets very rushed, and it's all concluded in a matter of like 20 pages or so, and it was just way too rushed for us. We wanted it to keep that good pacing all the way to the end and not have a rushed ending there. But we both really enjoyed the characters. They are lovely. I love Susan, and Ada and Jamie are wonderful too. Just the little trio of them is just lovely, and it's so nice to see them bond and to see Ada kind of open up more because obviously she's been treated so terribly and abused by her mother her whole life, so understandably she's a little closed off to people, especially adults, and she still doesn't quite believe that anyone could love her or not be totally just disgusted by her disability. And so that was very sad, obviously, but it was also nice to see Susan's influence kind of healing that in Ada and causing her to open up more and be open more to the idea that someone could love her and that she could be loved by a grown-up and that she's not just this horrible, cursed child that her mother has tried so hard to convince her that she is. And so yes, for the most part I would definitely recommend this book. It's very well written, the characters are wonderful, the pacing is great, just that ending was a little disappointing with how quickly it all wrapped up. I wanted a little bit more. But yeah, if you like middle grade and if you like historical fiction, I would definitely say give this one a shot. The next thing that Katie and I read together was In Darkling Wood by Emma Carroll, and this cover is absolutely gorgeous. It's the little fairy on the back there. But unfortunately, the insides are not so beautiful. This was kind of just a total flop for Katie and I. We were excited to read this because we both obviously enjoy middle grade. Duh, that was the whole theme of the month, but we also really enjoy fairies and fairies in novels, and a fairy middle grade novel sounded like the absolute perfect thing for us, but unfortunately this one wasn't so great. The fairies weren't really in it, hardly at all. You know, they're mentioned, but they don't themselves really make that much of an appearance, so that was a bit of a letdown. This is about, I don't even remember her name, Alice? It's set in modern day, but it also like flops back and forth between modern day and these letters that another girl wrote to her brother at the end of World War I, and so it kind of flops back and forth between those two viewpoints. But in modern day, our main character, Alice, her little brother is in need of a heart transplant, and he gets one at the very beginning of the book, and then he has to stay at the hospital, obviously, for an extended period of time after that, and her mother, their mother stays with him, and so Alice has to go stay with her grandmother. who she doesn't really know that well. It's her father's mother, and her parents are divorced, and her father hasn't really been around lately. And so I don't think she's ever met this grandmother, actually, and she has to go stay with her, and she's very upset about it, obviously. And there's these woods surrounding, Darkling Wood, surrounding her grandmother's cottage that her grandmother wants to cut down the entire wood because the roots of the trees are ruining her foundation, and there's no light in the house, and she's just tired of it, and she wants to cut down the whole wood. And the community is very distraught about this because, you know, the wood is super old, and they don't feel like she should be cutting down all these trees. And Alice meets this friend who tells her that if her grandmother goes through with this, that the fairies will be angry and they will want to get their revenge and things like that. And so it's just kind of about Alice having to deal with the stress and everything surrounding her brother's situation, and then having to find a way to save this wood so that the fairies will not be angry. And yeah, it's just, the writing was not very good at all. It was standard, if not subpar. The characters, I didn't really care about any of them. Like, I didn't like Alice that much. I wasn't a fan of the grandmother, or the mother, or the father. I mean, the little brother was cute, but you don't see much of him. And, I mean, obviously I wanted him to be okay after his heart transplant, but other than that, I wasn't really invested in anything that happened in this book, and it was very predictable and just kind of boring, honestly. But yes, it was kind of a disappointment for both Katie and I. We were disappointed in this one, and I think, I know I gave it 2 stars, and I'm pretty sure Katie did too. So yeah, this one was kind of a miss. It was a bummer. And then the next thing that I read was not a miss at all, of course, because it's Kate DeCamillo, my favorite ever, and I reread the Tale of Despereaux. Not this copy. I read my nice deluxe edition copy. That was just kind of a pain to read, to be honest, because it's so heavy, but it was worth it because it's beautiful. You know, sometimes you gotta go through some pain to read a pretty book. But anyway, I reread this and it was just as wonderful as the first time. This is The Tale of Despereaux, being the story of a mouse, a princess, some soup, and a spool of thread. It's about our young hero, Despereaux the mouse, and it is about how he falls in love with a princess named P, how his fate and her fate and the fate of a few other characters all become intertwined, and just all of their stories separately and together. And it's about forgiveness and the light that stories bring to our lives. It's just an absolutely gorgeous story with gorgeous writing, and it's such a simple narrative that Kate DeCamillo just injects with such profound wisdom, beautiful lessons about life. It's just absolutely amazing. I've gone on and on about Kate DeCamillo lately. I will never stop because I love her, and she has a new book coming out in April, and I'm so beyond excited. And yes, it was lovely, just as good as the first time around, if not better. Obviously, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And that was all of the middle grade books that I actually got through this month. I am in the middle of one right now that I started reading that was on my TBR. That was just on mine. It wasn't a buddy read with Katie, and that is A Drowned Maiden's Hair by Laura Amy Schlitz. Is that who that's by? I think so. But anyway, yes, I'm in the middle of that one. I only have about 50 or so pages to go, so I'll finish that soon, and it'll be in my next month's wrap-up. And the last buddy read that I had with Katie that I unfortunately haven't gotten to yet is Avis Dolphin by Frida Washinsky, perhaps? Yes, so I'll be getting to this very soon. And then I read quite a few picture books this month, and I think I'm going to do a separate video just talking about them, so I'll just mention them briefly here, but let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, because if you're not, obviously I won't do that. But yeah, just let me know if you'd like to see that, because I would like to spotlight these because there are some really great ones in here. The first one is Bear Has a Story to Tell, written by Philip C. Steed and illustrated by Aaron E. Steed, or Stead, maybe, I'm not sure. And this is by the same duo who did A Sick Day for Amos McGee, which I absolutely loved. This one wasn't as good. The story was just kind of subpar. The illustrations were, of course, adorable. In my spotlight of these 5 picture books, I will show you more of the art. This one, I think I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. It was just alright story-wise. Next one I read was the sequel to Dream Animals by Emily Winfield Martin. It is Daydreamers, and it was wonderful. I might like this one even more. I don't know. They're both so wonderful. But yes, this was an absolutely lovely story. Let me read you the flap of this. Scaled, horned, or feathered, magical creatures live in the land of daydreams. Just follow your thoughts, let your imagination wander, and dream. It says, the sunny companion to dream animals. So obviously that one was about dreaming at night, and this one is about daydreams. And they are both absolutely adorable, and I would definitely recommend them. These two I read are the first two picture books in the Guardians of Childhood series by William Joyce. And the first one, this one was actually a reread, but that is The Man in the Moon by William Joyce, and I reread this one so that I could refresh myself on the story of it before I read the second one in the series of picture books, which is The Sandman. And these were both absolutely adorable. I love the world that William Joyce created around the Guardians of Childhood, so, you know, the Sandman, the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, who am I missing? The Man in the Moon, all of those. I love the kind of mythos that he's created around those characters. Another picture book coming out in, I believe, at the end of this month about Jack Frost, so I'm super excited to get that. And then I'm super excited to start the chapter books in the series as well, which you will be seeing in a haul that I will hopefully be putting up soon. So yes, I absolutely love this series. Love William Joyce. I would definitely recommend it. His art and stories are both equally amazing. The last picture book that I read this month is one that I just recently acquired, and I was super excited about because it's gorgeous and it's about something that I'm super interested in, and that is Swan, The Life and Dance of Anna Pavlova. And so obviously this is a ballet book, and I love ballet books, so once I saw this I just had to pick it up. It's gorgeous. I don't know if you can tell, but the wings on the cover are kind of luminescent. They kind of shimmer in the right light. I don't know if you can see that. But yes, this book is absolutely gorgeous, and the story is just as gorgeous. It's obviously about Anna Pavlova, who's a very famous ballerina, and it's about the story of her life and her dance, and I would definitely recommend it for anyone who's a fan of ballet. It's absolutely gorgeous, and yes, I will tell you more about it and show you some artwork in my upcoming picture book video. But that is all that I read in the month of September. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about any of these books, or you've read any of them and you'd like to share your thoughts with me, or you would like to read any of them, let me know down in the comments. I would love to talk to you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon in another one. Thanks for watching.